How else do you think you learned to stonemason?
By stonemasoning, maybe?
10 seconds? Do you want to cut the radio feed on the mixer?
Throughout history, people have always been undervalued at work. That's why Monster lets...
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. Free at last! Free at last! Thanks
Almighty! You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Guillermo Moreno filling in for Alan Autry. He will return back tomorrow with Guillermo Moreno again for Free for All Friday. Always a pleasure to sit in for my good friend, the legendary Alan Autry. Probably the greatest, no, not probably, the greatest mayor in the city of Fresno. The greatest, and he's probably going to say, oh, Guillermo, now you're just pulling my chain here. The greatest NFL quarterback for the Green Bay Packers to ever play in the coldest game ever. See how I qualified that to a very specific game, a specific time. But you know Alan, and Alan's a fantastic guy. He'll be back mañana, tomorrow. And as I'm trying to figure out what in the heck to start with, there's so much going on locally. There's so much going on nationally. The Supremes, right? The Supreme Court of the United States finally giving us some good decisions. The biggest, ultimate decision, as I'm going to call it, is yet to come out. But I'm going to get to the big Second Amendment case in just a bit. But before that, there is some breaking news locally that also has some, I think it has some national implications, and that is this. The city council here in Fresno, California, decided to give themselves practically a 70% increase in pay. 70% increase in pay. Not themselves, but the incoming council members. Now, I find this interesting because I don't believe that politicians deserve to get paid, period. And the January 6th committee is continuing today. And Liz Cheney right now is all up on the screens for Fox and CNN. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know how much Liz Cheney makes? You want to know how much Liz Cheney makes? I wrote it down here. Liz Cheney makes $174,000 a year. $174,000 a year. Nancy Pelosi makes $223,000 a year. And by the way, they also have tons of other perks. I haven't verified all the perks. I hear student loan perks. I hear obviously some tax write-off perks. There's tons of perks to being a sitting Congress member. Now, I'm telling you this because the city of Fresno is going to raise the salaries for the incoming council members from $80,000 to $139,000, I believe, right? $139,000. Now, this is problematic for several reasons. A, because the average Californian, if you're curious, the average Californian makes $78,000 a year, which I actually believe is a little high. I don't believe that everyone, it's a median salary, but I don't believe that to be true. In the United States, in the U.S., the median salary is $53,000 a year. $53,000 a year for the median salary. And Nancy Pelosi and congressmen and women make $174,000. Politicians don't deserve to get paid. I'm telling you, it's the easiest job in the world. Oh, Guillermo, how can you say that? I mean, these politicians have tough decisions. Do they really? Was it really that tough to show up on the House floor in your best, I call it your Sunday best. I mean, they get out, they have nice suits. They don't buy these suits at Burlington or Ross like, the rest of us. Or Men's Warehouse, by the way, is really cheap now these days. Not cheap quality. I don't want to get, the guy that says, you're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. But really good prices. They show up in some nice tailored suits. They push a little button that says yay or nay. And that's about it. I hate it when politicians say, oh, my goodness, it took a lot of courage to vote this way. No, it didn't. Relax. You pushed a button. Either that or your committee told you how to vote. They're overpaid. They shouldn't be getting paid this much money. Now let's bring it down here to the local level because they're going from $80,000 to $139,000. $35,000. Now facts are important. We care about facts here. $80,000 to $135,000, a 69% increase. So why the increase? Right? Did you get or are you going to get a 69% increase at your job? Yeah, I didn't think so. Am I going to get a 69% increase here? That would mean I should give myself a 69% increase here at the studio. That would mean I would go from $0 to $0. And even if I were to get like maybe $5, woo! My math isn't good because remember, math is racist to minorities. That's the only systematic racism that I believe in is algebra, geometry, algebra 2, trigonometry, calculus, statistics. That is a racist systematic system. All right. All minorities are Did you do good in math? Oh, I hate white people too then. All right. Well, all right, fine. It hates all people that aren't smart. All right, we're just going to leave that one there. But my math is good on knowing what a 69% increase is and knowing what an unwarranted increase is. So here's the argument. And this is the argument that you hear nonstop from the left when it comes to price to salary increases. And you hear this on the local level and you hear this at the national level. Why do we overpay politicians? Well, we overpay politicians because we want good people to run for office and not have to worry about any financial setbacks. I heard about this here locally. Basically, the left is saying, how can a single mom, and I love single moms. I do. Well, I mean, not in that sense. I'm married. I love single mothers, as in my mom was a single mom. You get my drift. I really need Alan, man. He kind of just keeps me on course here. No, single moms are fantastic. But the argument is, what if you have one person who's the only breadwinner in the home and they want to run for office? They should be getting paid a decent amount. And to that I say, I don't buy it. Because this is creating career politicians. This is creating being a politician is a career. Back in the day, it used to be service oriented, right? I don't even think, back in the day when we established our government, I don't even think they were full time. They weren't even full. It was like a part-time legislature. They weren't even full time. Now we can't get these people away from Sacramento or DC. They constantly have to think about ways to infringe upon our rights. But the argument is, if we pay more, we're going to allow people that maybe would never have thought about running, they're going to run now. And to that I say, is this mean? But the liberal activist that has a liberal arts degree, who's never signed the front or back of a paycheck before, well, obviously they signed the back of a paycheck. Well, actually, no, the government gives it to you. Who knows? I don't know what they're signing. It's going to allow that liberal arts student, millennial progressive, to now make over $135,000 a year. That is a bunch of hogwash. It is. You don't deserve $135,000 a year. And by the way, here in Fresno, we found out a couple of weeks ago that they also receive a credit card and $700,000 to spend for city purposes, of course, and for the purposes of their district. So being a city council member in the city of Fresno is very lucrative, is awfully lucrative. So GV Wire David Todd broke the story as soon as it happened. So this is why city council members locally deserve to be making double the average salary of the United States and almost double the amount of the average Californian median income. All right, here we go. Luis Chavez and Carbasi, two of the three sponsors at the city council, say raising salaries would draw better caliber of candidates. Now, this is kind of funny because they're pretty much admitting that I guess the caliber of candidates that they have now have just been, whatever. That's actually insulting, and I feel bad for the candidates that have ran recently because they're saying, listen, you schmoes, like, you know, we need better quality of candidates. We do need better quality candidates because we have a lot of progressives in charge of City Hall. So I could go with that argument. This is what Luis Chavez said, city council member for the city of Fresno, District 5. My hope is that in the future, we can attract highly qualified professional candidates for the position. I don't want to state the obvious, but highly qualified professional candidates are normally Republicans. Okay, I'm not saying that there's no liberal doctors. There are. They don't know what they're doing, i.e. Dr. Fauci, i.e. Dr. Mark Galley with the California Department of Human Health Services. So, just saying, most of these professionals will be conservatives. So, you're probably saying, Guillermo, why aren't you happy with this? Like, this is going to attract the conservative lawyer or the conservative accountant or the conservative doctor. Finally, we're going to have people that actually know what they're doing, that have actually gone through life, instead of someone that graduated from college, decided to run for school board and then run for city council, and they've never actually held a job in their life. You know, the other thing is that candidates do? They pretend that there's something that they're not. So, you know, you go out and you teach, you teach like ESL, like English, right? Which is very honorable. Don't get me wrong. But you teach English and all of a sudden you're a professor. Well, you taught English for like a course, and you're a doctor now. You're a professor in academia. We have to refer to you as doctor. And business owner, right? Business owner. You know, I don't want to, you know, small businesses can be small as one, but they start a business of, you know, a consulting business where, like, what do you have no experience in anything, but yet you're a consultant. But this is how liberals game the system. When you look at, besides just being unjustified, the amount of money they get paid, but when you look at the arguments, it's laughable. If they're going to get paid, and because my first go-to is politicians do not deserve to get paid. If they do get paid, they should be paid the average, or you know what? No, minimum wage, right? Minimum wage, pay a minimum wage. You know, you're a public servant. You're a public servant. You should be getting minimum wage. There's no reason why you should be getting paid way more. Minimum wage here in California is going to go up to $15.50. Right? Remember, it's going to be $15.50. Remember, I also said that the reason why the California state legislature is increasing it to $15.50 is because Gavin Newsom and the Democrats hate our station. They can't stand us. So they're poking us in the eye by saying, $15.50, that's going to be the minimum wage. Joke's on them. Wait until we, buy another station lower on the dial. You're going to have to lower it, Gavin Newsom. But no, politicians should get paid minimum wage. Nancy Pelosi should be getting paid $15.50. Chuck Schumer should be getting paid whatever the New York minimum wage. If not, forget that. Do the federal minimum wage, which is at what? That's like what, $6? Yeah, you shouldn't be getting paid that much money. All right, let me move on here. Gary Bredefeld, the best city council member on the dais. Now locally, if you know local politics, Gary Bredefeld and Esmeralda Soria voted against it. Everybody else voted for it. Gary Bredefeld argued that $80,000 is fair for the work the council does, and the salary compares well with several other cities. Bredefeld said the salary increases are clearly not justified. Bredefeld said the raise itself is more than what most Fresnans earn. He also cited examples of his colleagues wasting taxpayer money. He also questioned the timing coming weeks after the June 7th election where voters decided 4 seats. Miguel Arias, Luis Chavez, Nelson Esparza won re-election, and Lisa Perea won an election too. Swearing in takes place in January, and all will benefit from the increase. Oh, my bad. I didn't know that. I didn't think they'd apply to them. It does apply. So I apologize. I didn't know this. I apologize if I said this yesterday on my show erroneously. So let me read this again. Bredefeld said he questioned the timing. So after June 7th, Miguel Arias, Luis Chavez, Nelson Esparza won re-election, and Elisa Perea also won. Swearing in takes place in January, so they're all going to be making 135,000 buckaroos. Wow. That's a lot. That is, well, the voters did not know that the council members were actually going to bring this forward, which I think is unfair. This is dishonest to their constituents, and I think for that reason alone, it shouldn't even be happening. City council member Miguel Arias said he thought the city council would be a part-time job. He discussed the complex nature of the job and the expectation to attend nearly every event and dealing with harassment. You know what? When am I going to get an increase? I put way more hours in here in the studio. I deal with harassment. They call me coconut, you know, brown on the outside, white on the inside. Yeah, you get it. I'm not a... Anyhow, well, do I get harassment pay? I should get battle pay. You know, I'm on the front lines here I'm by myself, but nonetheless, I'm on the front. Oh, you know, Alan and Larry join me once in a while here. Before winning election in 2018, Arias was a spokesperson at Fresno Unified, blah, 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 blah. The mayor could veto. And by the way, Mayor Jerry Dyer came out yesterday saying that he doesn't necessarily support this increase. Mayor Jerry Dyer has the ability to veto the bill, even though it received a veto-proof 5 votes. The mayor expressed his concern about the pay raise on a statement on Wednesday. So there you go. I don't believe politicians deserve to get paid. And if you twist my arm and say they got to get paid, Guillermo, then they probably should just get paid minimum wage. Honestly, minimum wage. You're a public servant. You're doing it because you want to improve your community. You do it for minimum wage. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, since the city council members are going to have money and you're not going to have money, this is what I want you to do. I want you to listen up to the next segment. We're going to have some budget-friendly ideas. I'm telling you, we're saving you money. When we come back, we'll tell you how you can save money at the water park and how you can save money. You're going to want to listen to it. How you can save money going camping. You're going to save money. Don't say we didn't give you a savings better than 18 cents a gallon. All right, Guillermo Moreno coming right back here for Alan Autry on the best talk in town, Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. You want to be a part of the show? 559-899-1550. That's 899-1550. Big decision from SCOTUS. I'll tell you that when we come back.
See entertainment. Gas prices are... Gas prices are high. Money is low.
You're watching on Facebook. Appreciate you tuning in. Maybe Jose, the engineer, can put Facebook on my screen so I can see any of the comments coming in. Maybe answer in real time.
One minute.
only a pH balance cleaner, like Pledge, is gentle enough to care for the
30 seconds. Ten seconds.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Ain't exactly clear.
Guillermo Moreno filling in for Alan Autry. Alan Autry will be back mañana. You're going to be a part of the show. 899-1550. That's 899-1550. Always enjoy his bumpers. They're a little old. That's fine. I think he'll be okay with me calling him old. They're not like that old. They're not ancient, but it's a little different than my alternative music here. We wanted to show you that we in fact are giving you more of a savings than Biden is, and we have these bits where we're giving you guys budget vacation ideas. This one is camping. So you want to take your family camping, but you don't want to drive anywhere because it's too much? This is what you can do instead.
Gas prices are high. Money is low. So here's another budget vacation idea.
Hey, kids, we're going camping. All right, meet me in the backyard. I'll grab the tarp, and in the morning, I told the neighbors to make a lot of noise when they leave for work at 7 a.m. It'll be just like a real campground.
That's another budget vacation idea. Budget vacation ideas. We couldn't afford a real jingle.
There you go. Yeah, you've done that before? Yeah, that is the poor man's camping. Just throw the kids out in the backyard. Hey, well, we can bring you Pop-Tarts in the morning. Don't bother us. You're fine. It's all right. I was gonna make a homeless joke, because a lot of people are dealing with homeless, like up inside their backyard. My good friend, he lives on the I think it's like Central Fresno. The homeless guy was like moving in next door. It was an abandoned house, moving in next door, started a fire and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just getting crazy out there. Maybe don't throw the kids out there camping. Finally, I'm extremely excited about this SCOTUS Supreme Court decision coming out of the top court in the land. And let me tell you, the Democrats and the left are really hating life right now. They're really hating life for a lot of reasons. The first being that Joe Biden is probably going to be, and I have to qualify it because who knows, he might do something amazing. Probably not. He's going to be the worst president in the United States history, worse than Jimmy Carter. And the Democrats are dealing with that whole fiasco there. The Democrats are also dealing with a failure with the January 6th committee. Today, they dragged Sean Penn to the committee hearing. Like, this thing is getting zero traction. I think Justin Bieber's TikTok about his face being half paralyzed probably got more traction than the January 6th. And I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying that nobody cares about January 6th anymore. You got that? Nobody cares. When they're pumping their gas, and when I'm pumping my gas, I don't sit there thinking, man, I'm so glad the January 6th committee is investigating what happened. I am so distraught over what happened on January 6th. Thank God they're doing that, and they're really investigating that instead of actually investigating Joe Biden and the reason why our gas prices are high and maybe coming out with some type of relief. So glad the January 6th committee is meeting. The Democrats are having to deal with such a big failure that is. And breaking news as of yesterday, and I don't think I was able to repeat this yesterday, but they are actually delaying some of the hearings. Like, this thing is a nonstop, never-ending thing. They were supposed to have a lot more hearings scheduled, but they're actually scaling it back, and they're going to wait for maybe mid-July to bring it back. And you got to ask yourself, this thing was supposed to be a huge thing. Remember, they were going to come out in prime time. They hired an ABC consultant. Now it looks like they're bringing movie stars in. Sean Penn. to try and get something going here. Well, I have no idea, and we'll have to figure out why they brought in Sean Penn, but I have no idea what more they could do to, and maybe they have a halftime show. Maybe they'll have, Jay-Z, Beyonce coming in, during intermission and start doing, they need ratings. They desperately need, this has to be the most boring television. I'd rather watch, who's the guy that painted? Like the big pro guy.
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross, thank you. I'd rather watch Bob Ross paint than watch January 6th. I like that guy. Now we're going to paint the tree. The leaves, happy leaves. Look how happy this tree is. Are you happy? You happy when you see this tree? Next we're going to, I don't know, put in some mountains. Trying them out. You like the mountains? The mountains sing to you? Oh man, I love it. Man, just the mountains. I'd rather watch that on an endless reel than watch Liz Cheney and the left here. But besides that, the left is hating life because the Supreme Court decision that came down today. And we're still waiting. The biggest one. We're still waiting for the big kahuna. And this is, again, remember, the reason why you're having these legal decisions come down in the right manner, and you can interpret that however you want, is because of Donald Trump and the justices that he appointed to the Supremes. That's the only reason. That is going to be his greatest achievement. His greatest achievement during his first term, because I'm predicting there will be a second term. His greatest achievement will be his Supreme Court nominees and the protection of our rule of law. When you look at what the Supreme Court is doing, especially when you look at the failure that the executive branch is, and you look at the failure that Congress has been, you really start to appreciate the structure that our founding fathers gave us. This is what makes this country great, and this is what keeps it from a dictatorship or an autocratic type of government, is the fact that we have three branches of government. Now, remember, the left would like to destroy that, and the left would like to pack the Supreme Court. And it wouldn't surprise me, and it shouldn't surprise you, after the Supremes, and it'll probably be Friday or I'm predicting that tomorrow, that they're going to drop the abortion decision maybe tomorrow going into the weekend, because that's really the time to do it. Do it on Friday afternoon. All these lefty liberals, they're probably going to go clubbing and stuff like that because they have no life. And if you go clubbing and you have a life, I offer no apologies nonetheless. But, the liberals sleep in late. They're going to drop this decision on a Friday. They're going to be watching Saturday morning cartoons in the basement of their parents. And, they're going to get up and be like, oh, my goodness, did it drop? And and I said this yesterday. I truly believe that SCOTUS probably intentionally leaked this out. I'm telling you, I believe Justice Alito probably left it in the break room at the Supreme Court. They're in the break room. He probably was like, well, just going to leave this impending decision right here on the table. And I actually do have a Supreme Court decision right here. Not the abortion one, but the Second Amendment one. And we're just going to leave it right here because it really did take, I think, a lot of thunder from the left. So when this does hit, I'm predicting tomorrow, when this does hit, and I'm predicting that on zero information. I have zero information on when this thing is going to drop. I'm just predicting that this would be perfect timing for the abortion decision to drop. But nonetheless, let's get to this very important Second Amendment decision coming out of the Supremes. Of course, the Supreme Court struck down New York gun law regulating concealed carry, and this is being heralded as the biggest gun rights case in over a decade. This closely watched case, the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association Incorporated, v. Bruin, addressed whether New York State's concealed carry law violates the Second Amendment. In the most significant case regarding the Second Amendment since the High Court affirmed the right to bear arms with its 2010 decision, rendering Chicago's nearly 30-year ban on handgun ownership unconstitutional. This is what, if you're curious, this is what the New York law basically stipulated. And I'm reading right now. I printed out the decision here, gone through a majority of it. So this is what the New York law was. The state of New York made it a crime to possess a firearm without a license, whether inside or outside the home. An individual who wants to carry, which is standard, an individual who wants to carry a firearm outside his home can obtain an unrestricted license to have and carry a concealed pistol or revolver if he can prove that proper cause exists for doing so. So, hey, you wanna protect yourself? Why do you want to protect yourself? Oh, because I don't know, gang members and criminals want to break into your home and possibly rob you at gunpoint. No, that's really not a proper. You want to protect your family? Yeah, I don't think that's proper. You're not showing me proper cause. What? You live in a bad neighborhood and you've already been subject to robberies and home invasions? Well, you're still alive, right? Yeah, that's not proper cause either. So we're going to go ahead and deny your proper cause. So that's essentially the way the New York law was written. An applicant satisfies the proper clause requirement only if he can demonstrate a special need for self-protection, distinguishable from that of the general community. So you have to prove you have special need that you need that gun. And of course, thank God, this was held unconstitutional today by the Supremes. And it really is a big Second Amendment win because, as you know, New York, California, Illinois has the most restrictive gun laws. And they were starting to hear them say, "Yeah, you don't need a gun. It doesn't matter. You don't need a gun. You don't need a gun." So they're putting these unreasonable restrictions on gun ownership and the ability to acquire a gun. And you can't do that. You have to have a justifiable reason as the state. And they do. I mean, they want to prevent, mass shootings, but they can't. It can't be arbitrary. You can't just say, "Oh, well, you know what? Because we don't like guns in this state, you can't have a gun." Yeah, that's just the way it's going to be. And that's the argument from the left, right? They don't like guns. They don't like the Second Amendment. I think they dislike the Constitution entirely, but that's their argument. I don't like it. I feel that guns are dangerous. I mean, how many times do we not hear the left base decisions on emotionality? And that's it. That's all. That's it. We want women to have a choice. Well, technically, there's another human being involved. What? No, it's just listen. Women should have the choice to do whatever they want with their bodies. Well, technically, it's not just their body anymore. There's a human being in there. No, this is wrong. You're racist. You hate women. You hate No, we don't. Stop getting all emotional about it. Take emotionality out of it. And this is one of the greatest things about the law. And the left has yet to discover this, and this is why they try to actually try cases in the court of CNN and in the court of MSNBC to their flock. It's all emotion. They don't like the rule of law. They don't respect the rule of law. So that's why they feel that they can, that their emotions supersede the rule of law. And you're going to see that with this abortion decision that's going to come down probably any minute. And hopefully, like I said, probably tomorrow. But that's their entire basis. When they don't have, and you've heard the famous line, when you don't have the law, pound the facts. And when you don't have the facts, pound the table, right? And that's all they don't have the facts or the law. The left rarely does. So they're just pounding the table. That's all they're doing. It's all emotionality. They don't care about the Constitution unless, it says that Democrats can pretty much do whatever they want. That's the only time they care about it. But this is a great decision. And it's really going to put a stop to the other states like California and say, listen, you can't just go around saying, hey, I don't like gun owners, so you can't have a gun. You can't do that. You can't do that. So thank God Donald Trump did what he did. So here's the potential impact, according to ABC News. Similar laws in other states will likely be challenged. Yeah, hopefully. California, any gun owners want to challenge it, whatever Gavin Newsom's doing, depending on how narrow or broad the decision is. Now, here's the other thing, because I don't want people to say, oh, Guillermo, you're okay with mass shootings? Is that it, huh? Are you okay with mass shootings? You're okay with what's going on? Well, no, you have to have, if you're the government, it's constitutional law, you have to have something that's narrowly tailored. So, yeah, a domestic abuser who has, violent tendencies, who perhaps maybe has brandished a weapon or something. Yeah, that guy, it's narrowly tailored. You got a record and you have a gun charge already. Those people shouldn't have guns, obviously, but it's narrowly tailored. You cannot have a gun if you meet these requirements. Like that's fine. That's narrowly tailored. But to go around and say, yeah, no, you're gonna need to show me that you need this gun. Special. So what's your special circumstance? People robbing you? Yeah, and you're still alive. That's essentially what the state of New York was doing. The technical but potentially consequential sleeper issue in this case, Miller noted, is whether the court takes text, history, and tradition, only approach in instructing lower courts on how to think about Second Amendment rights, or if judges can continue to consider modern evidence like social science data while balancing individual rights against state laws, promoting public safety, and they just go on, blah, 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 blah. It's a big decision. It's a big win for the Second Amendment. It's a big win for your constitutional rights. Maybe not the best timing, especially with what happened with Uvalde, but again, you have to take emotionality out of it. We can't, and this might sound heartless, but you can't take societal, what's in the news and what's in the news cycle. You can't really take that and say this is why. This instance here is the reason. Schools, and I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, schools are still the safest place for your children, statistically. We have high-profile mass shootings, which is, again, a tragedy, and I think we're finding out, especially as the Texas legislature grills law enforcement on what happened in Uvalde. I mean, that was just a failure on many fronts. Failure with law enforcement, failure to catch this guy, mental health issue. I mean, there's tons of points where this could have been prevented, so we don't need to go and remake 200-plus years of valid law based on emotion. You got to take emotion out of it. And you just got to look at the facts, you got to look at the law, and that's the way you really got to decide it. You can't allow the left to win in the court of actual law. They might win in the court of public opinion on CNN, MSNBC, and all the other liberal outlets, but you can't let them win in the actual court of law. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. 899-1550. Hey, are we even on Facebook? Should be. Let's go, Zay.
We are on it.
Oh, we are? Okay, great. Appreciate you all tuning in on Facebook Live. Did you see the recent media thing? Good morning. Attached to the press release for the grand opening of Pretty Woman Fine Lingerie. That's great. That's fantastic. Well, isn't that discriminatory? What about the not pretty women? No? Don't get a chuckle out of that? Let's see here. You want to attend that press release or that press conference? Pretty Woman Fine Lingerie.
1 minute.
I don't want to get you in trouble, bro. Dior gardening kit, $8,000. What is this thing made of? Huh. Funny.
30 seconds.
Over time until ultimately the meeting on January 3rd, which was the most extreme of the meetings and conversations.
So I want to make sure we don't gloss this over. Just
Commercial break. For those that now I said it over the air, so now I gotta say it. We get obviously a bunch of press releases from people around town, and this one's coming from the Fresno Chamber of Commerce. Grand opening for Pretty Woman Fine Lingerie. They are opening, I don't know where, somewhere on Blackstone. See, how is this not like discriminatory? Like, because it's Pretty Woman, right? Pretty Woman Fine Lingerie. What about all the women that maybe are not so pretty? Like, what? It's discriminatory. They can't go. Like, where's the woke left at? And they're using woman in the name of the business. We might need to interview these ladies. Like, they might be super right conservatives, because or else it would be Pretty Fine Lingerie or Pretty Woman, or however you want to identify. Fine. That'd be a big sign, though. That would be, come on. Signs are expensive. They charge you per letter. Pretty Woman Fine Lingerie. There you go. They're opening on West Bullard. Don't say we didn't tell you of all the business openings. The producer literally wants to go to the grand opening like right now. He wants to leave and just wait out there for the store to open. He's shaking his head. I hope your girlfriend's not listening, buddy, because if she is, the right answer would be, that's why I'm going. Right? Yeah, there you go. That's why I'm going. There you go. See, I'm helping you out here. If you, you know who really needs a lot of help is the January 6th committee. Should we pop in, see what garbage they're spewing now? Let's do it. Who do they got? Right now they have Jeffrey Rosen, former acting attorney general. And is it Kissinger, this guy? The other Republican on there? All right, let's join in and see what hogwash they're spewing.
And to my awareness, Jeff Clark had no prior involvement of any kind with regard to the work that the department was doing that Attorney General Barr has talked about to this committee.
So let's take a minute and explain why the president mentioned Jeff Clark's name to Mr. Rosen here on Christmas Eve. On December 21st...
Who cares? Who cares? Why are they wasting time? Why aren't they figuring out how to truly bring down the gas price? Like, isn't that more important? Aren't people dying in Ukraine? Don't we have an oncoming recession? Is there still a shortage of female feminine products and baby formula? Probably. They can't make that much that quick. But yet we're doing this. Like, it's great and it's not. It's great for us who pretty much have been telling everybody, hey, listen, if you voted for this, you're to blame. And I'm not going away from that. If you knew what you were getting yourself into. You honestly knew what you were getting yourself into.
Today, he met with these Republican members of Congress. President Trump called into a conservative political convention, and he used the opportunity to pressure the Department of Justice to investigate his bogus claims.
The problem is we need a party that's going to fight, and we have some great congressmen and women that are doing it. And we have some great fighters, but we won this in a landslide. They know it, and we need backing from, like, the Justice Department, and other people have to finally step up.
The Select Committee obtained records from...
Oh, man, look at Trump. Look at that pressure he put on that Justice Department. Did you guys hear it? He held him at gunpoint and said, you need to recall this and say there was election fraud. Wow, the pressure. Trump calling into a conservative conference, the amount of this guy should be locked up. I mean, put this guy away. Forget anybody else. Don't let him run for office ever again. Don't let that guy even near the flag. Don't let him hug another flag again. This guy is just a horrible. I love it. This is now he's calling. Oh, turning point. Here we go.
Legislative matters. When President Trump asked if I would make an introduction, I obliged. But why Jeff Clark? Let's hear Mr. Giuliani explain the kind of person that he and the president wanted at the top of justice.
Go Giuliani.
Remember ever recommending to anybody that Mr. Clark, meaning Jeffrey Clark at DOJ, be given election-related responsibilities?
Is it supposed to be That's playing.
You mean beyond the president?
Correct.
I love Giuliani.
Well, beyond the president, I do recall saying to people that somebody should be put in charge of the Justice Department who isn't frightened of what's going to be done to their reputation. Because Justice Department was filled with people like that.
Yeah, agreed. And we now know that it in fact was. In fact was. So there's nothing riveting happening with the January 6th committee that I can assure you. So we'll just move on from the January 6th committee. All right, here we go. Now that I'm thoroughly, I forgot. Oh, here we go. That's what it was. The tease. I apologize. So for those of you who can afford it, which would be any of the Fresno City Council members who are going to be getting a big fat raise on January 1st, they're going to be going from $80,000 to $135 and $44. And the members of Congress who get paid $174,000 and Nancy Pelosi who gets paid $223,000 a year, they will now be able to afford the Dior gardening kit. That's right. The Dior gardening kit is now available for $8,700. $8,700. Why can't I just like get a regular gardening kit from Home Depot and like put leather on it and just sell it as Dior? Just, I don't know. I probably, because it's French. Oh, is it? So it's not Dior. Is it Dior or Dior? Now you have to say it. French fashion house Dior recently announced its plans to release a luxury gardening kit, and the internet is freaking out over its incredibly high price point. Yeah, I would be too. The fashion and youth culture website Hypebeast shared background information about the Dior gardening kit via a viral Instagram post costing $8,700. What is inside the gardening kit? It was designed by Kim Jones. The Dior gardening kit includes a leather folding seat with a hand rake and a spade embellished with calf skin leather handles. All right. The kit's shape resembles the brand's signature saddlebag and is an homage to Christian Dior's love of gardening. So the whole thing is made out of calf skin leather handles. All right. At this time, the designer gardening kit is exclusive to a few countries in Europe, such as the UK and Spain. The Dior UK website states that customers can only purchase the kit in store, and customers must complete an online form to book an appointment at the boutique. There you go. Some of the posts from Instagram were, "How beep does a gardening kit cost more than my car?" Commented someone on the other comments. "The metal better be mined from beep Pandora." Someone else wrote, "LOL, people who can afford these don't garden themselves." That's so true. That's a good point. That is a good point. If my gardener shows, I don't have a gardener, so that's me. If you pass by my home, it's, the bushes are like 4 feet tall, on top of where they should be. If a gardener shows up at my place and says, "Hey, I'm here to do your gardening. You just got to pay me $500 an hour," and they whip out this Dior kit, I'm running them off. This Dior kit is insane. I'm looking at it right now. There's nothing special about it. It's just like a stool and the little gardening thingy, little gardening spigot. All right, let's move on here because I'm running out of time. We don't want to talk about rich folks spending their money. Or liberals spending their money. Because remember, there was this, I don't know, is it still going around that all conservatives are just rich, that we just drive our expensive Hummers up to the mountain and just count our money in money bags like the Monopoly guy? Is that still the, is that still, I'm not rich. I don't even get paid to be here, which I would like a 70% increase. That'd be awfully nice. I don't know how you can go up from zero, but nonetheless. All right, let's get to some audio here. Here's Mayor Eric Adams talking about the decision from the Supreme Court. And then I think we have some Hochul as well, Governor Hochul out of New York. Here is Mayor Eric Adams regarding SCOTUS, the decision, the great decision protecting your Second Amendment right.
We will not allow our city to live in fear that everyone around us is armed and that any altercation could evolve into a shootout.
Oh, man, would hate to have that happen. Would hate to have a crook or a criminal who's about to rob you at gunpoint would hate to have you actually be able to defend yourself. Huh? Is that true?
We will not allow our city to live in fear.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Mayor Eric Adams of New York, your city is already living in fear. You know that, right? Your city is the whole damn state is living in fear.
For a city like this, with densely populated, this decision is just not rooted in reality.
It's rooted in law. Rooted in 200 plus years of law, jurisprudence. I don't know what else does he say?
While we're still analyzing the decision, we can say with certainty, this decision has made every single one of us less safe from gun violence.
Hey, and by the way, when he says, listen to that part again, the beginning.
While we're still analyzing,
he hasn't read it. All right, he hasn't read it at all.
The decision, we can say with certainty.
I haven't read it, but I could say with certainty.
We will not allow our city to live in fear that everyone around us is
I don't know what's wrong with me. I went to New York. I loved meeting with Giuliani, but I did not like New York. It was different. It really was. All right, not headline news. I do it for my show, and I want to do it here for Alan's show as well. Not headline news. This is not headline news.
This is not headline news. Today is National Hydration Day. And never forget, the ice in your breakfast margarita counts as water. Ferrari says they will never make a self-driving car, but they have pledged to do all they can to create a non-balding driver. A Florida man was busted stealing a street sweeper. He was hoping to make a clean getaway.
That's good.
Longtime WWE referee Tim White passed away. Wrestling fans honored him by lowering their barbed wire tattoos to half bicep. And Jason Mraz turns 45 today, though his unrelenting blandness remains eternal. This is not headline news.
Oh, man, I love it. I love not headline news. You can catch not headline news at the end of every hour on my show. We still have time? Producer, how much time we have? We don't have time. Are you sure? I don't know how to tell time. All right, well, I'll let you... all right, I guess we don't have time. All right, you know the music, what happens when the music comes on. Alan Autry will be back mañana. That is tomorrow. Free for All Friday. I will join him, and I hope that you join him and myself here mañana. And as Alan Autry says, do your best and let God do the rest. Don't watch the January 6th committee because it's going to be a waste of time. Go outside. Celebrate the Second Amendment win today and get prepared for another big win when the abortion case comes down. All right, see you tomorrow.